Hello, Leonardo Cornejo here, and probably I'm going to name drop someone, and it will be the last time I plan to do it. But it relates to the topic because I want to talk about Loli. About Loli entirely. There are many imbeciles who want to conflate it with things that it is not. With things that are illegal or illegal, downright criminal, and or harmful. I am separating it in three categories because illegal doesn't mean illegal everywhere. Criminal depends on legality, and harmful doesn't always mean criminal or illegal. But generally, in this case, the three come together. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, and I don't really want to, but the abbreviation is CSA. You know what I'm talking about. It is illegal, it is harmful, and since it is both, it is criminal. They want to conflate it with lolly and with things that are not that thing. And I am tired of it. I won't go into detail about my views on the age of consent. People already know my views. That it is basically arbitrary and it is not working to help the people it is supposed to help. I won't go around my views on specifically people who like that, people who like prepubescence. I already know the DSM-5 definition, and that's it. And that's the thing you should think about that topic. Go for the DSM-5 definition, abide the laws of your country, know the laws of your country, follow the laws. That's it. Don't break the law for physical instant gratification, and if you think the law is wrong, discuss it. It is not illegal to question a law. It is not illegal to discuss it. And if you don't hurt anyone, and if you have not broken the law, nobody should be able to persecute it. If you can't question a law, that law is tyrannical. Any law. If you can't question it, if you can say, wait, why in this country it works this way and in this other country doesn't, if you're not allowed to do that, that law might be wrong, or at least the reason why it is protected that way is wrong. Even if the law itself is not wrong, the reason why they are protecting it is because they don't understand the reason behind that law. Let me put it this way. If you say, wait, why is this illegal then? Why couldn't it be legal? And someone punishes you for saying that, then they don't know why it is illegal or why it couldn't be. And maybe it couldn't be because it hurts people, don't know. Let's say, for example, because it hurts people, because it requires manipulation or abuse or coercion or force to obtain it. So it is illegal because of that. Like blood diamonds, for example. Diamonds themselves are not illegal, but blood diamonds are because they require slavery to obtain them. Allegedly. At least that's what I know about the topic. So diamonds themselves are not illegal, but diamonds obtained through slavery are, or should be, depending on where you live, illegal. That's the same with child pornography, which is what makes it so different from Lolicon, because with Lolicon, unless you are holding the artist at gunpoint, I can't help but imagine one of the artists I like who draws Loli, Ethercore. I really like the guy. I can't help but imagine him getting held at gunpoint. Go draw clean right now. Go draw her. Now draw her. Bending over. And he's like, no, I don't want to draw lollies anymore. I mean, that's the only way in which Lolicon could be illegal, if someone is holding the artist at gunpoint, because then it was obtained through coercion and force. But that's the difference. That's one of the main differences. I think the first difference, and this is where Raging Golden Eagle says all conversations about the matter should stop. I don't think so, because, well, you could actually hold an artist at gunpoint. So I don't think so because of that. But he says, specifically because of that, because you can actually blackmail or force an artist. Specifically because of that, I don't think it is the only argument. But he says, it should end that it is not real. They need to recognize it is just a drawing, it is not real. That is important. And it is important because it is the core of the other arguments. As I said, to make lolly art, all you need is an artist. You don't need to coerce the artist. You don't need real children. You don't need real minors. You don't need any human being but the artist. Seriously, you don't need any other human being but the artist. Some artists do use, allegedly, anatomy books to get more realistic proportions, but that's allegedly. Anatomy books are not illegal, and people use anatomy books for everything. So no, it is not illegal even if they are using anatomy books. If you don't need a real child, or depending on your country because of the laws, a real minor, to produce the content, you are not requiring any of the things that have made the real thing illegal. The reason the real thing is illegal is not because of the content itself, but because it requires manipulation, coercion, or force to produce it. That's why it is illegal. It is not illegal because the law says so, or because it is immoral, or because it is bad, or because of the age, not directly because of the age of the participants. It is illegal because to obtain it, you require the participants to be manipulated, which is wrong, because it harms people. Manipulation is hurtful, even to an adult, so it is wrong even with an adult. In fact, everything here is wrong even with an adult, but with children is the only way to obtain it, generally speaking. Children, specifically prepubescents. It requires manipulation, coercion, or force. If you don't require any of the three at all to do something, then it is not hurting them. I also think it should be illegal to force your children prepubescents, to enter contact sports for the same reason. If there is manipulation, coercion, or force to make them enter, it should be illegal. It should be considered as parental abuse, in my opinion. I am a strong proponent of giving people freedom over their lives, and that includes sometimes even if the parents don't like it. And that's the thing. I think it is wrong to force a child, manipulate, or coerce into playing football. A child, a prepubescent child, a minor and a prepubescent, a minor and a child. I think it is wrong. No, even with an adult. I have said it often. The reason it is wrong is because the circumstances to make it happen are wrong even with adults. That's how I see it. They are wrong because coercion, manipulation, and force are wrong even with adults. At least, it should be. Manipulation in some places is not illegal with adults. Neither is in some places coercion. And in the places where both are illegal too, it only applies if the adult is a woman. Because if it is a male, oh, poor thing, cry me a river. Because, well, people don't care about men, and the whole equality thing is a lie. Even the equality is a bad idea, and the notion of equality toward the law, which is not necessarily bad, is a lie, because feminists don't care about being legally equal when these things happens. When these things happen, they are like, oh no, men can't be manipulated into sex. Of course we can. Of course we can. And the most stupid ones, quite a lot actually. But that I digress. I digress because I am bothered by the notion that, well, there is an empathy gap. The thing here is, unless you required, and it would be a really crazy thing, unless you require to force an artist through manipulation, coercion, or force, as I say, holding either core at gunpoint, unless you require that, lolicon should not be illegal. And saying all this stuff, which I'm saying on video, all of this and some other things about no, I actually did say them at the beginning of the video. All the things I said here, and there are a few other facts about my country which I omitted here because they are not relevant to Lolicon in general. But saying all this got me harassed by this guy Whatnoticus because he thinks I am glorifying child sexual abuse. He says I am glorifying child pornography and I am a pedophile and I am defending pedophiles because he started harassing a member of my target demographic, a lolicon, saying he's a pedophile. The guy is not. I checked the guy, showed no signs of being a pedophile. And even if he has not molested any child, all I can say is go get therapy. Go get therapy so you won't break the law. So you won't hurt someone. Because that's how the law works. If it is only in your mind, you go to therapy. If you break the law, you go to jail. And you will, depending on the case, sometimes you get capital penalty, capital punishment, depending on the country, depending on the severity of the crime, depending on the laws. In my country, there is no capital punishment, by the way. In Japan, I like the system they have for capital punishment because it is restricted to really horrible criminals who are far, far, far beyond reformation, and for repeat offenders who had their chance and missed it. I like the idea. I like that system. I like that system for capital punishment. The thing is, if you have not hurt anyone, even if you're a pedophile, you don't go to jail because it is in your head. Some people won't even notice. I repeat, go to therapy. The problem is there is a social stigma which makes these people more dangerous because they start, and this is a real problem, they start hiding and their thoughts fester, and you know what happens when someone is hiding and has no way to go, and they go crazy, and then they break the law and they hurt someone, which is why, I repeat, that's why child pornography is illegal. Loli is not the same as child pornography because it does not require real people, and because there is no coercion, no manipulation, and no force in its production. Because unless you were holding the artist at gunpoint, forcing him to draw Klee getting cream pied, fucking shit, YouTube will demonetize this. My channel is not monetized anyway, and I should mark it as an adult content. But the thing is, unless you did draw that, you will not require force, coercion, or manipulation. All you need is, hey, artist, I got 100 USD. Make a simple drawing. And they will. If they don't want to make a loli art, they will say it. No, look, here's my list of things I don't draw. I don't draw loli, so don't ask me. There is also another component. People who like loli don't always like it sexually. Many do. Many of the artists who draw it do, but not all of them like it sexually, as in they don't get aroused by it. I disagree with Digibro in this part, rest in pepperonis, because he's no longer Digibro. I don't even know what happened after the divorce part and him going transgender and then going crazy and then going confusing. I lost track of him. But Digibro once said, probably deleted the video, that the reason he liked Lolicon, and I will say he because I don't even know what happened with the whole transgender thing, so I don't even give a fuck. The reason he liked Lolicon was because of the notion of transgression. Ideologically loaded nonsense, if you ask me. Of transgression in the idea of an innocent character in an erotic situation. That's a very weird way to say I get turned on by loli pussy. I get turned on by Connie. That's a very weird way to say it, to be honest. Someone will edit the video to make it as if I said those things without quotations, so to speak. Well, yeah, about that. All I will say is, Nanachi is my waifu. I will say that, and that's my closing statement in any question on the matter. That's a very weird and roundabout way to say he likes lolicon erotically, but he feels ashamed of admitting it. But not everyone likes it erotically. Some people really like loli art, non-erotic or erotic, in a non-erotic sense. And they don't look for very explicit art, but they look for, the kind of soft, suggestive art. Because they find it cute, because they find it funny, because they find it cute and funny, because they really like it in any aesthetic way. I know an artist, a loli artist, who is entirely asexual. And the guy told me, I don't get aroused by this, I just find it beautiful. And you look at the work this artist makes, and it is not pornographic. It is just nude lollies, because he says nudity is beautiful, and I like it, and I draw it. It makes sense. Not everyone who likes lolly is into it for erotic reasons or for pornographic reasons. So the whole argument of it is child pornography, it makes no sense, because not even all of it is. It is not child pornography, because there are no real human beings, and most specifically no real children, no real prepubescent human beings in it. I find it funny because the furry community has a really strong hatred toward loli, despite being in a similar situation. They are like, it is not bestiality, it is not zoophilia, because they are anthropomorphic, because they are not real animals. Dude, that's feral. That's a literal dog getting fucked by a human. But it's a drawing, so yeah, no, I don't really have an issue with it beyond not wanting to see it. But I find it weird when someone who literally draws pornographic feral furry art starts talking about how loli art is child pornography. And I'm like, dude, what you are drawing is a drawing depicting bestiality. And you are telling me you have the moral high ground? That's really weird. That's really weird. All the arguments can be summarized, but it is just a drawing. It is not real. That's true. That part of what Raging Golden Eagle says is correct. It is true. But you do really need more extensive arguments. Yeah, you can loop around it. It is not real. It is just a drawing. But these people are crazy, because that's how we managed to escalate it with this psycho called Nauticus. We were like, but it is not real, but it is just a drawing. But you can't punish people for fiction. We always held the ground of, it is just a drawing. And he ended up harassing me because I blocked him. I've called him a liability. The guy is a psycho. So the argument is not effective. When you are dealing with these people, they are often called antis. When you are dealing with antis, they are fucking psychopaths. The argument is not the argument of it is a drawing. It's not valid, because you will spend 4 hours telling them it is just a drawing, it is fiction, and they will make excuses, and they will even go full Jack Thompson, because I said, look, I read loli, and I read action fantasy, and I play first-person shooters. I play video games with action and violence. According to you, I should be locked up for being a potential criminal. Because he said people who consumed loli and who played violent video games should be locked up for being locked up or on a watch list, something like that, for being potential criminals. And I'm like, I play first-person shooters and I write action fantasy with loli characters. Nothing sexually explicit, by the way, because I think, well, at least not in the main series, because I think sex in fantasy novels, in YA novels, really gets in the way. it's the part when I find an explicit sex scene in any book that is not purposefully written as erotica, I drop the book, no joke. Unless I am really interested in how it ends, I will drop the book if I find that, because it gets in the way of the plot, to me, at least. Only 1 or 2 books I have tolerated with such content, and I think those chapters were not necessary, for me, personal opinion. But because of that personal opinion, I don't try that. The thing is, this guy, I was like, but then you are saying violent video games should be illegal? And he was like, yes. And he wasted 4 hours of my time with circular logic. I was kept in a perpetual loop with that psycho, and that's why I grew tired, and he spent 4 hours of my time, of my writing time, by the way. I said, you are a liability because of that, and I blocked him, and the guy started harassing me and stalking me and reporting my work and trying to destroy my business. Because I grew tired of him, and he spent, I shit you not, those 4 hours of nonsense talking to this psychopath, who by the way likes Shota. So he's a pedophile according to his own principles. Not to mine, his. 4 hours with this psychopath, what Nauticus, also known as When to Kiss, which was his alt where he argues with people to harass them later on. 4 hours with this psychopath arguing, and I shit you not, 8 motherfucking hours of him stalking me, posting shit, harassing me. 12 fucking hours of dealing with a psychopath. Because I said Loli is not real. And I grew tired of telling him the same shit over and over again. Loli is not real, it's not real, they are just drawings, it's not real, reality and fiction are separate things. And these don't get it. They don't get it. They are not really thinking like normal human beings. They can't separate reality from fiction. That's why I say RG is correct in holding on to it is not real, but that holding on to that will not be enough. It is enough as a core reason. It is not real. Shut up. But they won't shut up. And you will try and try and try, and when they grow tired or you grow tired, they will stalk you and harass you. And these are not normal human beings. They are human on the outside, but their minds are something entirely different. They are not precisely humane, and they will do everything they can to hurt you, to destroy you, if you don't give in. So it is not enough to say it is not real. That's why I am giving the most important argument, and you will say, but that will imply selfies, topless selfies of a teenager should be legal. Yes. Specifically of a teenager within the age of consent or of whatever country you live in. Yes. And specifically under circumstances which mean she was not manipulated, she was not coerced, and she was not forced. Because these are the reasons why prepubescents cannot consent. Because the only way you get consent from them is through manipulation, force, or coercion, because they do not have libido. Not all of them, not most of them. Those who have are rare outliers who do not count to my argument. The reason child pornography, specifically pornography made featuring prepubescents, is illegal is because you require force, coercion, or manipulation to create it. And that is harmful, because when you manipulate someone, and they realize, at whatever point in their life they realize they were manipulated, it is devastating. And you know it is because you have been there too, in situations in which it should be illegal, but it was legal. When you coerce someone to do anything, it is devastating the moment it happens. And when you force yourself upon someone sexually, it is called rape, and it is monstrous, and it is illegal for a reason, because it is damaging even at a physical level. Also, prepubescents can get really hurt with all these things because their anatomy is not made for that. So yes, the reason child pornography is illegal is not a moral argument, is not a social argument, is not a legal argument, is not an ethical argument per se. It is because to create it requires manipulation, coercion, or force, and therefore is illegal because the people involved get hurt. If there were cases in which these three are not required for it to occur, I ignore them, because since it is illegal, it is not something you go around finding everywhere. So I don't know of them, and I don't search for them, and I don't look at them. So since all we know with the data we have is that to produce it requires coercion, force, and manipulation, any of them, therefore it is illegal. That's where it is harmful. It is harmful because of what it requires to be made, and that's an argument I actually had with someone who said it should be legal. I told him no, because of these three reasons. The difference is a topless selfie of let's say 17 years, 11 months, 20 hours female, a topless selfie taken by her out of whatever reason, without coercion, manipulation, or force, because she was bored and she decided to take it and then share it. Well, she's stupid for sharing it, but it shouldn't be considered exactly the same as child pornography. At least I don't think it should be, because we are talking about someone who is going to literally turn 18 in a few months. But and I actually told that to the idiot Nauticus, also known as When to Kiss. But there are laws and morality and all that, and I am arguing from a theoretical standpoint on, yes, I know the law says it is illegal, but I think the law is a bit too unreasonable there. Even then, I repeat, even with adults, any kind of pornography obtained through manipulation, coercion, and force should be illegal, even with adults. Since, as far as we know, all child pornography requires that's why it is illegal. And therefore, loli is not the same. Here is the argument. Here is the important part of all this. Loli is not the same as child pornography. Loli is not child pornography because it doesn't, and it shouldn't be legal, and it can't be considered the same because it is not produced under the same circumstances. Because you don't need manipulation, coercion, or force to draw loli, unless you are holding a Mr. Ethercore at gunpoint. If you are, stop, please. I like his art. As I was saying, you don't need that kind of crap to obtain loli art. You don't need to use any sort of force, coercion, or manipulation to obtain any kind of fictional content which is considered as socially unacceptable and which people want to illegalize because of that. That includes, in fact, violent video games, which are an analogy, because people say like, oh, but the reason LOL is illegal is because the real thing is illegal. Well, murder is illegal, sir. I am not lying, neither am I exaggerating. Murder is illegal. Then why can't I go and play Manhunt and kill a bunch of people? Or even worse, because Manhunt allegedly, well, they are criminals too, and you're a criminal and they are criminals, so we're even. Nonsense. But let's say, for example, GTA. You can go, steal a car, and murder a prostitute in that game. I don't have an issue with that because it is not real, it is fiction. I won't say, oh no, it should be illegal. No, on the contrary, I think it should be totally legal. But as I said, if you can if you if you're arguing that lolly should be legal because these non-existent entities drawn in it are in situations which in real life are considered illegal, GTA should be illegal. And I consider GTA shouldn't, because this is the mindset of Jack Thompson, exactly. I don't think the mindset of Jack Thompson is healthy. As I said, if we consider that argument, GTA should be illegal. I actually own one of the games and it is on my list of games to play. So no, it shouldn't be illegal. I am just saying, according to this logic, it should, but it shouldn't. It should never be illegal. I'm just pointing at how this logic can be applied to other things, which in real life are illegal, but in fiction anything goes. Action films should be illegal too then. I mean, how many action films display the most action and the slasher and horror films? Display the most gruesome, horrible and cruel ways to die, and nobody says, wait, this is wrong. That's weird to me. That's really weird to me. Because, how do I say it? It's really weird to me because most people don't have this... how do I say it? This understanding of reality. That violent content and sexual content are, how can I say it, interconnected in that regard. That they are about controversial things and people act as if they were not, as if they were not the same. People treat erotic art and especially lolly as something extremely horrible and unacceptable, but they often just, how do I say it? They often just pretend nothing happens when they are looking at extremely violent content, extremely violent films, extremely violent video games. They are like, oh yeah, it's fine because it is not real. Well, it's the same with lolly. This is the same with in general erotic art. When it is the real thing, that's when I go against it. And here's the weird part. This is also a weird part, but I understand why. Violent content, slasher films for example, violent content, very extreme, explicit, violent content is entirely legal. Even featuring real actors. Of course, they won't get hurt for real. I understand that's logical. That's why you can't have the same equivalence with erotic content featuring children, because, well, as I said, you require manipulation, force, or coercion to make them do that. One could argue, well, nude photos or something like that, and there is actually some legal issue with that, because, well, actually there were erotic depictions of this actress called Brooke Shields when she was a child. So yeah, there is a... I don't know if a child per se, as in prepubescent or early pubescent, because I really didn't bother looking for that, but she actually sued her mother for that. She actually sued her own mother and the magazine for those photos. So yeah, there is a, you could say, precedent of them being legal, but also a precedent of the person suing. I think that's fine. I mean, she was not really forced or coerced. She says she was manipulated, but we don't really know if she was really manipulated. But since she is the person who was in the photos, he should have absolute copyright over them. I think that would be the solution for those specific cases where there is no coercion, manipulation, or how do I say it? No coercion, manipulation, or force. give the publishing and distribution rights to the person featuring them, so that they can decide, no, I don't want them public. And I bet it will basically keep things the same. That could be a solution. I could be mistaken. I could be wrong, because I am not a psychologist. I am not a lawyer, but that's an idea. That's an idea, and I don't think ideas should be illegal. I don't think people should be persecuted over ideas. Unlike Juan Noticus, who tried to destroy me for defending Loli. The thing is, the reason child pornography is illegal, as I said, is because of the way in which producing it requires harm. Fiction does not apply to that, because there are no normal instances in which fiction requires harm to be produced, and the rare cases in which it requires harm to be produced are often, for example, I don't know, black companies, crunch hours, which are entirely legal, surprisingly enough. I mean, Konami got away with keeping their staff hostage to produce games. No joke. They locked, allegedly during crunch hours, they locked people within the development team in hotel rooms without allowing them to leave, so that they focused on work. Fuck it up, man. Allegedly, that's what Konami did. It should be illegal, it should be a crime, they should be in prison, but they got away with it. That's the weird part. They got away with it. So if Konami can get away with holding people hostage while producing fiction, there is something wrong with the law to begin with. And the other part is, then the fiction is not the problem. The problem is Konami. Because the fiction is not illegal. The problem is it was produced with illegal means. The reason, as I said, child pornography is illegal is because it is produced through illegal means, and it is the illegal act itself depicted in it. But with a drawing, there is no such thing. We must fight back this censorship, and the aunties who harass us, we must fight them back without mercy, treating them within the law. Remember, this is important. Never break the law over impulse. Never break the law to hurt these people. Never break the law for instant gratification under any circumstance. If you think the law is failing, discuss the law. Argue why it is failing. Expose your views on it. Propose solutions. But do not break the law. Unless you are under a basically survival situation is the only exception. Unless respecting the law compromises your physical well-being or your job or whatever, basically unless it materially hurts you to follow the law, do not break the law. Do not break the law to fuck someone, to put it simple. Do not break the law to hurt someone, even if they deserve it. Do not break the law to hurt someone. Do not break the law for sexual gratification. Do not break the law to make quick bucks. The only circumstances for breaking the law will be, for example, if they are hunting you down or something fucked up like that, really authoritarian situations. But if it is something about sex, normally don't break the law and discuss the law to change it if you think it must be changed. If it is to punish a harasser, you have many legal ways to deal with them. And that's what we must do with the aunties. And that's the other part of this video, because aunties are willing to literally share real child pornography, not drawings, not loli. It is not child pornography, but real child pornography, to bait lolicons and expose them as pedophiles. Never works. They catfish as minors to harass lolicons. They will stalk and harass you, as I experienced with this guy when to kiss. They will slander you, call you names, target your income sources, target your job. They will do many things. Dox you, which I also went through. He allegedly even has my address, which is weird because I don't put it anywhere. I keep it private. People don't know where I live. They know in which country I live, but not counting my friends, people don't know where I live, in which city or anything. Unless I have accidentally said that. Unless I made the mistake of saying it, of bringing it up at some point. People don't know. And if they do, and if I did accidentally mention it, well, you need to dig really deep to find out. Now, this guy doxed me, harassed me, stalked me for liking loli, and he's a normal auntie. He's not that rare. It's the first time I went through it, but I know other guys who like loli, who have gone through that or even much worse. For example, this guy, I think his name online is Dawson. Fuck that guy, he really has experienced several injustice. Because he has gone through much worse than me. There are many open lolicons online who have gone through worse than me. People who like loli in general have gone through worse than me. People who are not necessarily lolicons but have spoken in defense of lolicon, like Mr. Anime, who experienced a lot of harassment from this guy, Yakuza Western Killer. They have gone through the same or worse than me, because aunties are not sane people, are not good people either. Someone insane but good, it is not that dangerous. It is not going to do something so horrible as to what they do. We are dealing with people who are willing to break the law to stop the pedophiles when there are no pedophiles. I mean, if you are not sexually attracted to prepubescent, in fact, if you are not primarily sexually attracted to prepubescents, well, there is like this complex thing, but basically, if you are not sexually attracted to prepubescents, let it say that way, you are not a pedophile. If you have not broken the law, you are, what is on your mind is no one's business. So these guys are like, oh, we're owning the pedophiles, and all they do is break the law, and they literally own and share and look for, because to own it you must look for it, child pornography to bait pedophiles. That's why I say some of these people have gone through worse than me, because I knew a case of an auntie who went around on Discord sharing child pornography, trying to expose pedophiles, and many lolicons were like, this guy is sharing real child pornography, trying to create a problem where there is not. We're dealing with people who are willing to break the law, to hurt, to harass, to dox, to commit many crimes because of drawings. It is not enough with having a good argument when we are dealing with such people. It is not enough when dealing with such people with having logical and legal explanations as to why child pornography is illegal, which are not based on morality, because they do not care. Because they do not even care about children. That's a very crucial thing you must understand. These people who oppose loli, when you are defending loli, they do not care about children. They do not care about even those drawings. They want to be morally superior. You need to use everything within the law, everything legal you can, to neutralize them, because they do not care about the law. They do not care about children. They do not care about fictional children either, by extension. All they care about is moral brownie points. Most of them are woke too. They are either woke or conservatives of the most Puritan kind. Puritans in general, but they are basically SJW classic and wokes and Puritans. They are all Puritans. That's their most defining characteristic. They all belong to the category of Puritans. You are dealing with Puritans. And the Puritans do not think like normal humans. All they want is the moral brownie points. Arguing with them is impossible, because you won't convince them with RG's argument. That argument is for reasonable people. It is not real, it is a drawing. Anyone functional, anyone sane who is not puritanical or brainwashed will be like, yeah, it is just a drawing. If you say the reason the other thing is illegal is because even someone, let's say, more moralistic or more puritanical, or someone really worried about the children, let's say someone who really has an issue with lolicon because of the matter of children, if you tell them, look, there are no real children here, and the reason child pornography is illegal is because it requires manipulation, coercion, and the force to obtain it. The reason is because it hurts a real child. Because of these three things. Someone who really cares about children will be like, I get it. I get it, because yeah, you don't need manipulation, coercion, or force. But someone who is emotionally driven, and especially someone who is emotionally driven, morally motivated, and evil, will not resort to that. Someone who is emotionally driven will be like, no, but it is still wrong. Yeah, go fuck yourself. I don't care. I don't care about your opinion, because it is not illegal, because it should not be illegal, and you are mistaken. And that's it. It's over. You don't talk to that person anymore. But someone who is emotionally driven, someone who is morally driven, will say, no, but I think it is wrong and it is disgusting. Well, good for you. Fuck you. But someone who is evil, morally and emotionally driven, like aunties, is someone you must neutralize within the capabilities of the law. I repeat, neutralize. That doesn't mean harassing. That doesn't mean killing. That doesn't mean breaking any law. Use all legal capabilities to neutralize the threat, because otherwise they will try to destroy you, because they do not care about children. They are motivated by the moral superiority and resulting attention and praise from their peers over attacking you. The purpose is destroying you, creating an evil force to destroy and destroy it, creating a folk devil to destroy it. And that's why we must defend lolicon with all our might and without any mercy, but following the law, respecting the law. You find someone sharing child pornography, to bait the pedophiles, report that person to the authorities and get them in jail. Simple as that. And let's see who will be happy going to jail for trying to bait the pedophiles. Because in jail, those who share child pornography are seen, they won't necessarily hurt this person physically, but they are seen socially as worse than murderers. So good luck with that. Good luck with being the people, the individual, the people in that prison will hate the most. Good luck with being the one guy they won't like at all. The guy with no protection from gangs, because no gang wants them. With no protection from stronger prisoners, because, as I said, they are seen worse than murderers. Good luck being that guy. And a guy even the cops won't bother really protecting. Stop the aunties using the law and protect this art form, which is by no means harmful. Well, that's it for today. Have a good one. Still on Flame, Book 1 of the Guilds of Avlaan series is available on Amazon. If you like fluffy wolf lolly protagonists and Japanese light novels, follow the link below to check it out.